Camera, action.
Hey guys, it's Sadak and you're watching Teach Academy. Today, me and my friend Lee are discussing
What's up?
whether schooling needs a revolution. So Lee, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Hi guys, what's up? How are you? This is Lee.
We're just having a very chill conversation in the studio today, and we work together. We've been schooling kids together now for about a couple of months, I guess. Do you think schooling has come to a point post-corona that it needs a revolution? I mean, it hasn't changed for 100 years. So do you need it needs change? And if it does, what kind? And if it doesn't, why?
First off, it needs a change for sure, like 100%. There's no, going back, no, it doesn't. It needs a change, all right? Because, like you said, it hasn't been changed for 100 years, yeah? For 100 years, school has been, you walk into class, you're 30, 20 students, and you open your book, you sit on, and remember this, individual chairs?
Yeah,
individual tables.
Yeah.
You sit on your chairs, you put your bag, and your teacher walks in for 45 minutes. She teaches you something. Trust me, nothing goes in here.
Most kids just zone out.
But that's not the teacher's fault, though. That is also on students, because, we can't say it's the teacher's fault, because teachers try their level best.
I think it's just the format. It's
Now-
boring.
Now, picture this. A class of 10 to 15 max, okay? A collaborative table, like a round table with all of them sitting next to each other. The teacher is giving you real life examples of everything, she or he is teaching you.
So very practical.
Exactly. And, if students have an issue, instead of, sometimes, it's good to ask questions to your teacher, but sometimes it disturbs the class. They can ask their colleagues, like,
Nice.
hey, what was this?
Basically, you're just talking about Teach Bahrain without saying that it's Teach Bahrain. It works. It is what it is. I mean, it works, right? So we have at Teach Bahrain, we've got a system where we've got collaborative desks. We don't have individual desks. We allow students to sit down in a class and talk to each other and discuss ideas, just like any team working situation would have, right? So Facebook or Google does not have individual desks. They usually have people working and collaborating with each other. And any real life work environment has exactly the same thing. So that's what we emulate at Teach Bahrain. And it works. 99.9% of the time it works. Okay, every so often you get a troublemaker.
Yeah, but also that you can take it as this way. In future, you're gonna work with a team. Yeah, you're not gonna work as an individual as long as you want to open up your own business. But even that requires a team.
Absolutely.
Yeah? So if you're just trained in this form since you're a kid that just working and studying all alone with one desk, sitting and doing your boring job or your work, in future when you grow up and you're working with a team, how do you collaborate with them?
Yeah, most guys don't know how to.
You would be just this, this self-indulged person. Me. I do this. Me. That's it.
And these guys, they also become very competitive.
Exactly.
Extremely competitive. I was reading this survey, or it was a report, I guess, and that is most toppers. This 1%, 2% kids who score 99% of the grades, like 99%, are always top 1, top 2. Do you know that most of these tech companies, like $1 trillion companies like Facebook or Google or blah blah blah, they don't hire these kids.
Yeah,
they don't hire these kids.
I've actually seen that.
This is a really cool report. Like, guys, check this out.
You're going way too far. I'll give you an example.
Go ahead.
So back when I was in school, I wasn't a top grade student. I was an average student. People who I know who used to get like 95, 96. When I look back where I am today and when they are, I'm just like, keep going.
Yeah, it's important, right? So what happens is, right, okay, academic grades are important, but then, like, once we get into the real life, I mean, once you start your career, there's so much more to collaborating with a real team than just your grades. I mean, I can't remember for the life of me, when was the last time someone came to me and asked, Saad, what was your grade in high school? When was the last time someone asked me about my degree, for example? Or when was the last time someone came to me and asked me what I did in my master's? Or what was my GPA, for example? No one cares. People care about what's my skill set, what I can deliver, what I bring to the table. And that's really important. And then, again, most of these kids who are graduating school are not developing that skill set.
Exactly, yes. And I'll also, give you an example. Let's just say, you walk into a company. You're, let's just say, a mechanical engineer. I'm not. You've got a year of experience. I've got 10 years of experience. Okay? But I've not got a degree. You've got a degree. Yeah. We both walk into that interview. Who gets his job?
You probably get it.
Why?
And I'll tell you, most top-notch, like top-level companies, like Tesla, for example, they don't even require you to have a degree. Google does not, by the way, go check this out. Google does not require you to have a degree. Most of these big companies who are making a difference in the world, right? Who are coming out with cutting edge technology, innovations, and all of this, they don't require a degree. They require people who can work their way around things, who can understand, learn, adapt. And I think that, excuse me, that's what makes us human. And I feel like we need to go back to the basics, right?
Yes, for sure.
I remember when I was younger, okay, school was extremely standardized, and it's always been extremely standardized. But I used to have a time when, my teachers cared about my personality. Teachers would talk to you about lying or cheating. They talk to you about personality traits.
I remember that.
Being brave was important. They would discuss stuff like that in class. Now it's just about 1 + 1 = 2. Isn't that a problem?
For sure, because see, like most of us usually say, like even like my fellow colleague Dana once said, your studies is important, basic studies is important, but then also what's important is life skills.
Absolutely.
You can't just walk into an interview and just say, in school I learned trigonometry is the best thing ever. They're like, get out of here. What are you saying? You should know how to present yourself. All right. Now, schools actually go out, all their way to teach children a lot of things. I don't say schools are completely wrong, but they are wrong in some places where you're building up a robot who's just built up to do a 9-to-5 job every single day. How about you motivate your kids to do something interesting, like
entrepreneurship?
Or even if, let's just say, some kids are really good singers. They want to be singers. Some people want to be, they just want to pursue their career in dancing or a DJ. No job is small. Just don't motivate them that, if you want, that job is not going to get you a lifestyle. Like, don't demotivate them. Tell them
that's what we do. I mean, we've become really good at taking kids who are limitless by nature. I saw this the other day. If you give a kid who's 2 years old or 3 years old and ask them to color an elephant, they don't color it silver. They color it blue or red or something crazy. They're limitless.
You want to hear something crazy?
They're like blue elephants, red elephants, yellow elephants.
You want to hear something crazy?
Go ahead.
When I was a kid and I went for my admission test, I think it was in Pakistan.
Right.
I colored the apple black.
There you go. Right? Rotten apple. Very realistic. So they do stuff like that, right? And what we do is we take that creativity, which is limitless by nature, and then we put it in a box.
Yes.
You're only successful if you become an engineer. You're only successful if you become a doctor. You're only successful if you, fulfill my standard of success. Right? I think as educators and as parents and as adults and as guardians of the next generation, we ought to just go back to the basics and then look at redefine success. One more time. Let's talk about what success means in 2022, right? And from there on out, let's remap how schooling works.
Well, to be honest, I'll tell you what success means according to me. I would say I'm successful when I would, go back, if I go home, I sit on my bed and I think, am I happy? The day I'm like, oh yeah, I am happy, I'm successful.
There's a really cool story. I mean, I think we're over time as well, but just a cool story. My wife was telling me this. She's like, there was a fisherman, and he was fishing. So a millionaire comes to the fisherman. You know the story. That's why you're laughing, right? So the fisherman's fishing, and a millionaire comes to him, and he's like, so why don't you're pretty good at this? Why don't you start a company, hire many fishermen like you, buy a few boats, and let them all catch fish, and and become really rich, so you can retire and be happy. He's like, so explain to me, why do I have to make a company when I'm already doing what makes me happy? Boom. So he doesn't need to, get my point. So the guy was basically already fishing because he likes to fish, and this makes him calm and happy, right? Yeah. So a lot of people define happiness as something that speaks to their nature, right? And we need to, like I said, go back to the drawing table, sit down as adults, remap, what education ought to be in 2022, and then stop confusing our children.
Yes.
I feel like there's so much to learn, and what we do is we just distract them and then scare them, and we build these phobias. I know a lot of students, and if you're watching this, you're probably one of them. People who'd graduate university and will never touch a book ever in their life again. This is how much we're scaring kids of knowledge. We find the most boring books. Facts. These are proper facts. How many people do you know who have graduated university and will never touch a book? This is how much phobic they are. Yeah? They're never going to touch a book. We actually, theorize, sit down and think, how are we going to create the most boring book ever written? And then standardize it. And then force kids to read this book. Why?
That is so true.
Right? There's so much knowledge available. There's so much knowledge available out there. So many books that are written so well. We'll never recommend them to kids. We'll never make them a part of the curriculum. Look at books like, A Random Walk Down Wall Street. I just finished a book called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. Such a good book. Never ever bring this to a kid. Why? Because that book will talk some sense into the kid. That's what we don't want. What we want is to give them standard books that scare them away from knowledge forever. So guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you've watched the whole thing, right, I feel like as an adult, if you're watching this as an adult, you've got great responsibility towards the next generation. If you're watching this as a child, don't take this seriously. Don't let them sway you away from learning and becoming more knowledgeable as a person. And if you survive this, if you survive school or survive university or whatever that is, get out of it and look for more books, outside curricula. Try to read, try to become more knowledgeable, try to take information from people who've made it or who've done something rather than from people who are just academics, right? And, knowledge is really, really, really powerful. So never, ever leave the idea of it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.
Boy.